Now you're live.
Hello everyone, welcome on board, and here we are, we're meeting again. I'm going to, as usual, I'm going to wait until all of you have come on board. So another 1 or 2 minutes. In the meantime, what I am going to do is I'm going to thank Gaetano Vivo and his staff for having me on board. Without Gaetano and his staff, I would not be here giving you the food show that I would be giving. And in the meantime, with Gaetano, what we have decided is to give a food show twice a week for the time being, Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting May, because in May I will be giving the food shows in English on Tuesdays and on Thursdays, on Tuesdays in German and on Thursdays in English. There might be some changes depending on the number of participants who will be participating on this particular program, but for the time being it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I'm going to ask my cameraman, who is my son, Nikolai, is there anyone on board yet?
14.
14 of them. Hi, hello, all 14 of you. Hello. So for those of you, I'm ecstatic, by the way. For all of you who may have thought that tonight's cooking show will be in German, you are right. It should have been in German, but the team has decided today it will be in English. We have a large number of English viewers tonight, but I will be giving the same program in German as well. And I'm sure that all of you who speak German understand English or who speak English. Now, how many of you were with me in Abu Dhabi? Any of you on board who were with me in Abu Dhabi during the 5 years when I was there? No? No one? Okay, sure. They'll be coming on a little later. Maybe you should all get to know each other. Okay, so slowly and surely what I'm going to do is I'm going to present myself. My name is Alexandra von Hahn. It's a German name. My father is German Baltic or Baltic German. My mother is Hungarian. I was born and raised in Chile, in Santiago de Chile, and part of my life also in Canada for my high school years, university years, and I worked there as well. And then all of a sudden, I decided to get married. I decided to get married to a German diplomat, so we traveled. But we worked a lot in the Middle East, predominantly high-risk positions, or high-risk countries, rather. And I decided during these high-risk positions, I'm not going to worry about anything. I'm going to invest my time in food, and this is what I did. So tonight we will have a very special session, as every time I appear on Facebook. I hope it's special for you as well. It will be about spices. And why spices? I lived together with my husband and my 2 children in the United Arab Emirates in Abu Dhabi. And I had the opportunity to travel on my own by car and with my Emirati friend, Azza Al-Kubaisi, wonderful artist. And we traveled and visited Emirati families. One of the families said, Alexandra, you're going to write a cookbook. I didn't believe her, but I did. And it was fun. And one of the chapters in the second cookbook coming up will be about all the spices. In the first book, which is this one here, you already probably know this, and if you don't, my son will come and give you a close-up of it. Yes, I discuss about spices, and you've probably heard of the Indian spice masala, or chicken masala, or possibly even in Lebanon they would say zatar, or the Syrians they would call it zatar. Well, the Emiratis, or in the Gulf area, they would call it bizarre. Just remember the word bizarre. It's not bizarre, it's bizarre, spelled B-Z-A-R. It's also a combination of spices. But I'm going to introduce you to some of the spices, and just before I do that, we will be dividing our show into 3 parts. Meaning I'm going to be explaining you and showing you how to smell and how to appreciate mindfully the spices. From there, we will go on and produce our own bizarre mixture, which you are going to be using at home, by the way. And by the way, if you don't have all the spices available that I'm mentioning here, don't worry about it. Take the spices that you have, and guess what? You will be happy. We're in a time where flexibility is called for. Not everything is available, and it doesn't matter. As long as you feel the intuition, or you have the calling to cook something that has to do with spices, and start experimenting, start having fun. And if it doesn't work out, so what? You dilute it and put it on meat and you bake it. Put a little bit of red wine, and if you're not into the alcohol, then you can add a little bit of pomegranate juice. You can just make your own pomegranate. You just squeeze the pomegranate juice on it. Delicious. Okay. After that, after we've actually composed our own bizarre mixture, I'm going to show you. This is the bizarre mixture that was given to me by one of the Emirati women just recently. So it's just a mixture, a rub that you can use on meat or on fish as well, and for your bread. From there, we will go on, and I will show you how to use some of these spices when we make our own Arabic coffee. Sometimes also referred to, in the Arabic countries, also referred to as Turkish coffee. But actually, in the Gulf area, they call it Arabic coffee. In Turkey, it's a Turkish coffee. And it goes on like this. So there's always a debate. Arabic, Turkish, Turkish, Arabic. Doesn't matter, they both taste good. From there, we will go on, and I will show you how to spice up your rice. No matter where you are around the world, if you are in Canada, or if you are in the United Arab Emirates, or you're from Europe, possibly from Italy as well, Germany, or anywhere else, use your rice of your choice, and I will show you how to flavor your rice with our spices. It's not going to be hot. You can actually cook it hot, but it won't be. From the rice, we'll actually go ahead with our last dish, and we'll make a chocolate ice cream. I have an ice cream machine, an Italian Nibs gelato, a gelatissimo ice cream machine, absolutely exquisite. Okay, so one of the main reasons why I am on your platform, or on this platform, is because the main focus is mindfulness. Some of the viewers have asked, what do you really mean by mindfulness? And what do you mean by intuitive coaching or intuitive food coaching? Very simple. Enjoy what you're doing. Just enjoy what you're doing. And for example, when you display, or like I did, I displayed the spices, and I had a lot of fun displaying all the spices. All the spices have a meaning. And in other words, you're consciously aware of the fact that you enjoy placing the spices in a particular way, or intuitively, and I did it intuitively. This is how I normally would work. It's just a feeling where you say, this is how it works best, these colors work well, and you don't have to rearrange. Very often, if you listen and you follow your intuition, things work out. You just have to listen. It's not easy, but get used to it. If you feel, this is what I want to do, do it. If it doesn't work out the first time, the second time it will, or the third time. So here we go. It's a process while you're cooking, that you're enjoying what you are going to be creating. It has to do with creation, it has to do a lot with creation. And while you're in that flow, in that creative, or that creation, you're grounded. In other words, you don't have to worry about anything else going on outside. We have a lot going outside, a lot. We don't need it in our kitchen. No, we don't. The kitchen is your sacral area. And this is where you are grounded and you enjoy what you're doing. For the 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 2 hours, 4 hours, doesn't matter. You can cook for the whole week if you wish. And if all of you, or any of you, are in quarantine alone, guess what? You're going to have fun cooking for yourself as well. And you can put your laptop next to your finished creation, or while you're cooking, you can share it with someone else. And you can have the dinner or the lunch that you have prepared also with someone else. So enjoy the creation, whether you are alone or with someone else or with a family. It doesn't matter. This is going to be a lot of fun for you. I know that. Okay, I'm going to ask my son Nikolai to come a little closer. I'm going to explain to you some of these spices. We have here the of anise, It's beautiful. Absolutely, all spices are beautiful. Can you imagine? This star here will give you an immense amount of flavor. It's not only the seeds, but it's the wood as well. And I'm going to tell you after how we're going to do this. So I'm going to show you. In order for us to start putting together the bizarre or the spice composition, which we're going to pound, and you're going to use it at home, rub it on the chicken or on the steak, for example. You can either fry it, bake it, grill it, any way you wish. Here we go. We go with 1 star. And then we're going to decide for fun, in which direction are we going to make this mixture? Is it going to be focus on, for example, cumin? Should it have a strong cumin taste or flavor? And you can smell it as well. Just rub it in your hands. And if you have any spices at home, can you just quickly run to the kitchen and get your spices and start smelling them? Just rub them in your hand as long as it's warm, and now you can smell it. Now you can show. It's slightly acidic. They have slightly chlorophyll, which means the green, like the smell of green grass. Smoky. There's tobacco smell as well, and this is what cumin is all about. So we're going to decide to go which direction. Anyone has a preference? Shall we have the mixture taste more like the star of anise, more of cardamom, or more turmeric, or more spicy, meaning chili, or shall we go more towards cinnamon? Anyone has a preference? Let me know. Can you text in the chat? Shall we go cinnamon, turmeric, cumin, star of anise? Anyone? Is there anyone who's answered? No? Okay, no problem. Then shall we decide for you? Okay. We're going to go more towards cumin with cardamom. Now, the cumin I have explained to you. I'm going to add cumin.
Linda Zahl hat gerade geschrieben, spicy and turmeric.
Oh, all right. Spicy and turmeric. That's Linda Zalem. Hello, Linda. I know we were together in Abu Dhabi and you're still there. Welcome on board, Linda.
Okay. Valentina Oriente now wrote cinnamon.
Cinnamon. We can do that too. Okay. Okay. Valentina, cinnamon. Fantastic. Okay. Now, we're going to just add teaspoon, more or less. By the way, for those of you who want the recipe, please let me know, and I'm going to insert it into the platform, but I have to know whether you want a recipe. Okay, so Linda, you wanted turmeric. Here we go. So we're going to add a heaping teaspoon of turmeric. Look, there we go. That's yours, Linda. Valentina, you wanted cinnamon. Oh, but I'm going to challenge you, Valentina. You have a choice of 2 types of cinnamon. Either you have the Ceylon cinnamon, which is the one that does not cause any health issues at all. And you can see the light color compared to the other one. This is the one that is used readily right across the entire globe, in fact. Here we have cassia. Cassia is cinnamon as well, used by Asians, obviously in the Gulf area as well, but never in the large amount as our Ceylon cinnamon. So we break a small piece, very small piece. You shouldn't eat too much of this. A little goes a long, long way. Or we go into the more delicate taste of Ceylon cinnamon, or this is more of a robust, earthy, and more tobacco, but it's still cinnamon. All right, Valentina, which one would you like? Cassia or the Ceylon cinnamon? We're going to wait for you, Valentina. My son is looking for your name.
No answer yet.
Okay, no answer yet. Okay, Valentina, should I guess? I'm going to guess that you're going to want more of the Ceylon. Okay, I'm guessing. Okay, so I'm going to break a small piece. It's going to be cinnamon as well. There we go, see? And we're also going to add a very small piece of the cassia. Everyone loves cassia in this rub mixture. By the way, in the United Arab Emirates, the bizarre, spelled B-Z-A-R, or the rub, is used predominantly on lamb meat or on camel meat. And when I lived in the United Arab Emirates, I used to order 70 to 80 kilo camel. Actually, it's a dromedar. And we had it slaughtered, of course, no doubt. What can I do? But we had it rubbed with good 1.5 kilos of these bizarre. And with a lot of cassia. Oh my goodness, it's just absolutely exquisite. Although I'm vegetarian, but I have to taste. And I taste, and it tasted wonderful, but I'm still vegetarian, for those of you who want to know. It's a contradiction in terms, right? Never mind. I just don't like to eat the meat, but I do taste, and I love the taste. It's just wonderful. Okay, now we're going to proceed. We also have green cardamom. Green cardamom is, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to just try to smash them. There we go. Yes. And you're going to see the interior of a cardamom pod. This is a cardamom pod with seeds. Now, for those of you who bought cardamom at home, meaning from wherever you live, most of the time they will sell you the powdered version, which is this one here. The powder version should be, but it is not. It should only be powdered. In other words, the seeds should only be powdered. That's not the case. Commercially, they always powder both. The outer shell and the seeds. It gives you a milder taste, flavor. However, if you were going to pound the seeds only, you will get a very intensive cardamom flavor in your food. And you would do that using, if you're going to make your own ice cream, you're definitely going to pound your own cardamom pod seeds, but not the outer shell. However, for the bizarre, you would use both the seeds and the shell. Now, in the past, in the United Arab Emirates, as well as in many areas around the Gulf area and in Asia, in order to alleviate a cold or a mild flu, they used to apply an open pod of a cardamom with a little bit of steam, and you would have to have your head hovered over the steam with a lot of cardamom. At that time, cardamom must have not been expensive. And it would dilate the lungs. Very similar to eucalyptus. So if you were to smell it, absolutely, it's such an elegant eucalyptus smell. It's a fragrance that goes right through your nose and you can feel it going into your lung. Whether it actually dilates today, I don't know, but it certainly does does the trick. They used to use a whole lot more. It's 0.5 kilo to 1 kilo of cardamom pods in order to alleviate the bronchial issues at that time. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to add the powdered version of our cardamom as well as the cardamom pods. Here we go, and I'm going to add a little more because we're going to strengthen the flavor. There we go, and a little bit of the powder. You don't have to, but you can. And I'm going to now use also black cardamom. Now, for those of you who have not seen before the black cardamom, I'm going to smash one up for you, which you can, there we go. So, I'm going to open it up and look what's inside. Ooh. There we go. Lots of seeds, a wonderful husk as well. And these seeds and the husk, yes, if we're going to rub it against the hand with a little bit of warmth, you'll see that the etheric oils, they will actually come to the surface. There we go. Okay, it smells, you're going to say, oh my God, it smells of burned rubber. A little bit of that, but not really. It's actually a very deeply smoked tobacco leaf. It's actually quite strong, yes. Slightly antibiotic. It's also a component, by the way. And it is a complete smell. In other words, the smell there's nothing missing in it. And there are at least 50 to 60 different smells, in other words, fragrances that you can get out of this. And there's a study also on this. Very similar to chocolate. Not the flavor, but the fact that they have as many fragrances inside these pods. We're going to add one black cardamom inside. There we go. identify with another one. In the beginning, I wouldn't do it because you can then decide what you wish. Now, I'm going to go to the nutmeg. You may have seen a nutmeg has 3 pieces. This is half a nutmeg. This is the one that you are used to. Or you have nutmeg at home powder form. And what it is, it's inside a shell. And now I'm going to flip it upside down. It's as if it were a whole shell. And that shell is covered with a skin. And there we go. And I'm going to show it to you this way. And the skin is called mace, which tastes mildly like nutmeg. But it's a very mild version, slightly woody and nutmeg taste in the mace. So we're going to, and the mace is absolutely fantastic. It's also excellent in a cup of hot water. You can add the skin of mace, just about 1 teaspoon, and maybe 2 pods of cardamom. You pound them open, drop them in hot water, and that is your tea with a little bit of honey. If you're feeling somewhat under the weather, it's just exquisite, by the way. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add half a nutmeg, but definitely not the outer shell. This is not edible. You can use this for decoration or for any other purpose. Okay. And now what we're going to do, we have the laurel leaves. Now, all of you, I think all of you know it. What you can do is crush them and make sure there's some heat that you penetrate through the leaf. Now, you're going to smell it. It's some have very strong fragrance, some do not. If you have fresh laurel leaves at home, then use the fresh ones. If you're going to buy the dry ones, then make sure that you mash them very, very well in order to obtain some of the fragrance that they originally had. It's also a little strong, it's a little bitter, and it's woody, but more into the chlorophyll smell, like green grass, but older. Almost like fermented chlorophyll. So there we go, 2 or 3 laurel leaves. And we're going to add, which is also very important, some families in the United Arab Emirates add dried lime, and they're called lumi, which I've already explained the last time. For those of you who have not been with me the last time, you can dry your own lime on your heater or in the oven, low temperature, by the way, and if you have 45, 50 degrees, it might take a few days, or on your household heater, or in the sun if you have enough sun. So what you do, you can either leave it as is and crush it, or you just simply crush it and remove the segments of the lime without using the outer skin. That's your choice, okay? So you can use that. There we go. I'm going to use the whole half lumi in this particular bazaar. Now, last but not least, I think we're coming towards the end. Oh, yes. Here, we have also, just a second, we have here, saffron. For those of you who want to identify whether this is real or not, is a thin part to the strand and a thicker part to the strand. I'm using Iranian. Oh, here's another one that you can see better. A thicker end and a thinner end, and it smells nutty, acidic, like a very mature flower. By that I mean it's definitely not. It's more of a male or very masculine perfume. And yet the flavor actually oozes out when it's in contact with fat or with the food. Exquisite. So I'm going to add a little bit. I have one of the most expensive saffrons that you can possibly find. You can order it on Amazon, by the way, if you want Iranian saffron. Then we have coriander. Coriander is what gives you the typical smell that you would smell when you're in the Gulf area and you want to identify the smell in that particular mixture. It's the coriander. So another teaspoon of coriander. I'm not going to be able to smash it here, but I can. Oh, here we go. I can smell it now. Okay. Do I have one on my lip? No?
No.
Okay. It's acidic. It smells a little bit lemony and mixed with cumin. It's as if you had a perfume lemony with cumin. Exquisite. Exquisite. There we go. 1 teaspoon. And anyone wants chili in it? Hot chili? I'm going to add it. If maybe Valentina?
No.
No?
No.
No? Okay. So turmeric, we added already turmeric or not? No, I think it's, okay, there we go.
Didn't we?
Did we add turmeric or not? Yes, we did. Yeah, we did. Okay, hot chili, a little bit of hot chili. There we go. And we're going to add, what else we want? Ah, yes, some red pepper, a little bit of green pepper, and we have the cloves. Here we go. Cloves are very, very, very strong. So what you're going to do, these are cloves, and you're going to remove the head of the clove, which goes into the mixture as well. But once you've removed it, this is when you can actually smell whether or not it's fresh or relatively fresh. It's exquisite. It smells like Christmas. And also smoky and tobacco area. Okay, so it smells very much like Christmas. So I'm actually adding a lot, but I should be adding just a little less. There we go. Okay, and I think we've added more. Oh yes, the roses will not be added. They are usually added towards the end of a meal. And I think we have all. So basically what it comes down to, if you're going to mash it yourself, this is fresh. You're going to be using a dry one. In fact, I have a dry one here. There, this is a dry one. And I'm not going to mash it all now, but what you're going to do is you're going to mash it until either you have the time to actually use the mortar and pestle, or you're going to use your grinder, your coffee grinder, if you want to. However, I do not recommend you to use the coffee grinder because the smell stays in the coffee grinder. So if you don't have a separate grinder, just use your mortar and pestle. And once you're done with it, you simply use a colander, and you're going to make sure that you will keep the powder part of the mixture. And here I'm going to show you how it looks like in the end. Here. There we go. This is your bizarre. And your bizarre, you can actually do many things. As I said before, you can use it as a rub on your chicken, on your lamb meat, a little bit of oil, laurel leaves on top, and then into the oven with salt. Now, another example is to place the powder into a small recipient, and you're going to add a little bit of oil. Just leave it like that. And with your baguette bread or any bread, you simply dip your bread into this mixture. You don't have to mix it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we have enough oil in it. So, and you can add more hot pepper if you wish. There we go. And make it really spicy. It's absolutely exquisite on baguette. So you have your guests. In this case, it's not guests. You're going to be eating yourself or your family or with your partner, with your friend. And you just dip your bread in there or your crackers. Absolutely wonderful with a glass of wine or tea. Coffee, no. Tea, yes. Okay, so we've actually covered the bizarre and also the rub on the meat, and the bizarre you use as a dip for baguette bread. And by the way, don't forget to add a bit of garlic on your on your baguette bread. You'll have to excuse me, I just inhaled hot pepper. 1 minute. My son is going to show you the spice area. Sorry. Okay. All right. Okay, now we're going to part 2. And I'm going to show you if you're going to be cooking rice. Now, all of you have rice at home. And if not, try to get some rice. In this case, the Emiratis, or the population around the Gulf area, they prefer to eat, actually most of the time they would eat basmati rice. The basmati rice is a long grain, thin, it is perfume, but it's not perfume. If I say perfume, that is jasmine rice, but it is definitely with the fragrance. This is Indian high quality called Tilda. I'm not paid by the government, but by the company. But definitely I love their rice, Tilda, T-I-L-D-A, which I normally order from Amazon, a 10-kilo bag. And I wash it 5 to 6, or rinse it 5 to 6 times, and I soak it for at least a half an hour, and it is now in its water to be cooked. Now, how do I flavor the rice? Rice is flavored with a lot of salt. In this case, for 2 cups of rice, I have 2 teaspoons or a little more of sea salt or any salt of your preference. And here it comes. If you want to flavor your rice, here we go. We're going to add anise, one anise, 3 to 4 cloves, And you're going to remove the tops, but you're going to be adding both parts. Both parts of the clove, the top and the bottom part, the cap actually. There we go. And we're going to add 3 to 4 cloves, and I'm going to mash them. There we go. So here we go. 4 or 5 cardamom in the rice, and about a teaspoon of cumin, 1 laurel leaf, and definitely the cassia, or if you want to use the other cinnamon, you can use the other one. But in this case, we use, in the United Arab Emirates, we use cassia, and a few of the seeds, coriander seeds, just very, very few. And what else did we do? Oh yes, definitely. 1 if you want to, but this is optional. If you want to use a black cardamom, I'm going to throw the black cardamom in there as well. So you stir it, and you know that oil is a flavor carrier. So you're going to be adding a good amount of oil. So we're going about 3 tablespoons. There we go. So Nikolai, you can show a close-up if you want to. So we're going to mix it, and you cook it as you would normally cook your own rice. In this particular case, the Emiratis, they would cook until it is 75% cooked. They would then take the water out, or separate the water from the rice. Sorry, that's the hot pepper. Okay, and then they would add the meat, close the lid, and the rice would continue to cook at low fire for a little while. However, in your case, the rice as your any way you want to. All right. So when this is done, when this is cooked, I have the cooked part. Here we go. So this is how it looks like. I added. It will become slightly brown in color, simply because of the cassia, the star of anise, and the cloves. But this is, and it's very, very, very flavorful. And you can always add, at the end of the cooking procedure, a little bit of butter. I know I've added a lot of oil, but a little bit of butter tastes even better. Okay, enjoy. Okay, now we're going to go and prepare our coffee. And there's a good reason for it, because we're going to be making ice cream as well. So I need the coffee for the ice cream. Okay, speaking of spices. The coffee, I am not working for this company, nor does the company know that I'm a great fan of theirs. But on the other hand, I find, this is my personal opinion, my spoon, okay, that this particular coffee is probably the best Arabic coffee going. If you are anywhere around the world and you cannot get a hold of this company here, Matouk, via Amazon, it doesn't matter. You can use any coffee of your choice, and then you can actually spice it up yourself any way you want to. Which means this coffee already comes flavored with powdered cardamom. It's amount another 2 heaping tablespoons of powdered cardamom inside. And then some restaurants in the United Arab Emirates, they add a small amount of star of anise, 1 clove, and just ever so slightly a little bit of nutmeg. And I think I've used the nutmeg already here. Okay, it doesn't matter, but this is how the nutmeg looks like inside its own shell. However, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to flavor it. I'm going to drop it, which means 1 cup of water, and it's already warm. Half a star of anise, 1 clove. This is all for 1 person. And here we go, heaping tablespoon of the Arabic coffee. In we go. And we're going to seriously. And I'm going to increase the heat. It's going to be a little bit loud, but I have to do this in order for the foam to rise and for the foam to stay. Okay, here we go. We're not going to cook it the traditional way, which means letting it rise 3 times. This is how it's normally done. And I'm going to ask via camera foam that's perhaps we can see it. Yeah. Okay, good. And this particular coffee will be used, and as you've already seen, this is hot. I melted coffee. And why did I melt the coffee? Sorry, chocolate. This is another beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gift from Mother Nature. This is how cocoa nibs, or in its raw form, the cocoa would look like. If you were to remove the cocoa beans from its husk, you would then get some of the, you would get actually a bean, and the beans are smashed. Raw version of the cocoa, which is chocolate, but chocolate, it becomes chocolate when you've actually mashed the fat, or the cocoa fat or the cocoa butter, and then you mix it also with either a little bit of milk or sugar or no sugar. Here is no sugar at all. So what I would normally do, although I did not do it here, but normally, is simply take the nibs, mash them, and if you don't commercial, and you mash it until you have enough to have enough chocolate, or a base, chocolate powder actually, it's cocoa powder, or you buy your own organic cocoa powder, raw. It's absolutely, it's very, very, very intensive in the flavor. There we go, see? This is just to show you. So what I've done here, I've actually, the coffee is rising slowly. This particular chocolate, why did I melt chocolate? It's 60 minimum. It's respecting Mother Nature, and Mother Nature is gifting us with one gift after another. Beautiful flavors and chocolate and coffee. See, it's rising. I have to stop. It's rising, and we'll allow it for another rise. What would we do without chocolate? What would we do without chocolate? This is such a beautiful gift. And as a result of that, oops, you saw the second rise. I will allow the third rise. There we go. And I will stop it. There we go. Okay, chocolate. We're ready to make our own ice cream. If you want a little bit of flavor, not only chocolate, you add your Arabic coffee into your chocolate. This is about 3 tablespoons. And you mix it. There we go. So now we have, it's becoming just ever so slightly hard, which is normal. There we go. And we're going to heat it up ever so slightly. And we'll be very careful because it's directly on the heat. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to stir it so that it will not burn. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we have the consistency that we want. It's a little bit thick, as you can see. And we're going to use milk, different types of milk. What I did, I roasted almonds and I made almond milk. This is a plant-based milk, but normally you wouldn't necessarily toast or dry roast almonds, but for the ice cream recipe, absolutely yes. I'm going to be pouring it inside. It's about half a liter. Yes, it's about a half a liter. There we go. This is going to be a bit of a mess. There we go. So this is when you actually use the raw chocolate. Here, there we go. This is actually, normally it's done in a machine and not handmade. But in order to show it to you, I'm showing you the rough side too. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to now add other flavors. Okay, we're going to add saffron. I'm just going to powderize it just a little bit. And here we go, saffron. And anyone for roses? Here we go. We have, these are Moroccan roses. I'm going to show you here the inside of a Moroccan rose. There we go. They're actually very, very intensive in flavor. So I'm just going to have the leaves go inside here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful flavor. And what else can we add? We can add a little more cardamom powder. There we go. And, oh, here we go. If you want, you can also add red pepper, or just a pinch of chili. So here we go. We add a bit of chili. Add a bit of the chili, there we go. And the peppers go as they are. So it's going to be a strong version. I'm going to put it back onto the heat. And as you can see, I should be using a machine for this. But let's see if we can actually manage to liquefy it. So there we go. Here's the ice cream. Now, for all of you, any of you have ice cream machines at home? And if you don't, then you can actually simply mix it and place it into the ice tray and freeze it. And what you're going to do is have them in form of ice cubes. So if you're going to have your coffee, you can drop one of these cubes into your hot coffee. Or if you like to drink almond milk or coconut milk, or the conventional milk, just drop one of these ice cubes into the milk. Absolutely exquisite. And another, here we go, if you want to also add a little bit of cocoa liqueur or coffee liqueur on the square, also exquisite for an afternoon tea, for example, or for the evening. So we're almost done. This is going to be very similar to a ganache, by the way. It's 1-to-1. We have approximately 500 grams of chocolate and 500 milliliters of almond, actually toasted or roasted, dry roasted almond milk with all the spices. So what we're going to do here, although I'm almost done, and I'm going to leave it as such, I'm going to show you the machine, the ice cream machine. I'm not going to let it run now, but I think those of you who are watching from Italy, you are familiar with this particular ice cream machine. And I'm going to pour it inside. And I'm going to hope that the pieces will be also taken care of. Otherwise, we'll have many chocolate pieces here. 1 minute. I'm just going to stir it a little bit more. Okay, there we go. I'm not going to pour all of it, but just to show you, into the ice cream machine. There we go. And the rest I'm going to take care of it a little later. There we go. And you push the freezer button and the churning button, and in a half an hour you have ice cream. There we go. I'm just going to leave this there now. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now, last but not least, what we're going to do is, when your ice cream is done, for those of you who are not familiar, you may want to have a few drops of rose water on the ice cream. The bottles or the rose water you can obtain through Amazon as well, around the world. So if I were to smell it, oh gosh, wonderful. It's almost like perfume. Rose water, perfume. Smells like roses. It's just absolutely exquisite. Not too much. For those of you who like the rose water, you can add a bit of rose water at the end of, when you finish making or preparing your rice and it's ready to be served, just a few drops of rose water if you want to. Also very Indian. It's the Indian influence in the Emirati cuisine. And last but not least, if you're going to be traveling again, this is the Emirati coffee pot. But the coffee is very different. I've already shown one of the workshops on how to make the Emirati coffee, but that might be for next time. So as far as I can see, I think we've covered more or less everything to do with Emirati spices, although this is endless. It can just go on and on and on. It's, last but not least, I almost forgot, by the way. Here's also date syrup, which the Emirati absolutely love on their ice cream. Or together, I know you're going to think this is very strange, but or together with the bizarre. If you remember, where is our bizarre, Nikolai? Okay, here is the bizarre that we were attempting to make. Here, this is the finished version. And we also have the bizarre with oil. However, what the Emiratis absolutely adore is their white bread. Any white, round white bread, they would dip it in a little bit of oil, a little bit of bizarre on top, or no oil, either with or without oil. But just a little bit of, let me just show you. Here we go. Date syrup. Date syrup, here we go. I'm just going to show you how it actually runs. There we go. This is their gold. It's beautiful. And you mix it with a little bit of Bizarre. There we go. And on your bread. It is one of the most exquisite mixtures that you can possibly imagine. This is especially shown during their date festivals. The date festivals are often in July and August. This year it will not take place, but as of next year again. So this is it for today. And I hope that you have enjoyed watching me explain to you or giving you the spice workshop. This is something for you to remember, I hope, and you can also watch the program again if you're not sure what I have done, or if you want to copy one of the recipes. And if you want the exact recipes, just let me know and I will send it to you. All right. I'd like to thank Gaetano, his team, and all the viewers who are here on board tonight. And I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.